There we go. Hello everyone, you should be able to hear me now. So as you know, I've just lost control of my car, lost the wheel after 9-10 laps, and we now have a safety car here in Portugal for round 7 of Wheel2Wheel Racing. So, rundown of the order: we have Drostas at the front, Glock, then Paulie Orange, Riker, Knowlesy, Lars, AJC, Chewy, Mikey, A Letdown of State, Stevo, Chaos, Prev, Maxi, Blood and Sand, CHM, Sega, Bannister, and Dastardly. Bannister, unfortunate to have had a off himself, and then a mix-up in the pits got him onto the Inters. So, as we were saying in the race, it's like a reverse Lando. And Dastardly, he's unfortunately lapped, but this game unfortunately does not let you unlap yourself under the safety car. But we are here on lap 12, and we are hopefully going to be underway as soon as we come round to the end of sector 3.
You just had to one up me, didn't you? Right, so I was unlucky to see that, man. In regards to what happened, I was on board with who was it now? I was literally on board with whoever was right behind you, Mikey. And as I glanced away from the screen, I glanced up and the car was gone. So it's just unlucky, man. This track does look tricky. I've done some time trial. I could barely keep it on the black stuff. How these guys are doing what they're doing. But tell you what, as you're in the party, I can have a bit of a breather now because I've been non-stop for 11 laps. Because Glock, Riker, and Port, they've been mental. I'll let you take the restart. How about that?
Aye, we will be underway very shortly as Droftas is leading the pack. He's not going just yet, and he's now pedal to the metal, and he is away down into sector 1, coming down to the first turn. It's very hard to control your tyre temperatures here, and you have to watch this inside curb on turn 1 as we go around, and everybody seems to be doing okay this time. Very tight in the sector 1 for turns 1, 2, 3 and 4. Very difficult. Turn 4, it's off camber. But everybody seems to be getting around pretty okay. A bit of a position swap there between Chewy and Mikey, and they're still racing. Different tyre strategies there, so that might come into play. A lot of cars gathering here, and a Letdown Estate being swamped there from a few cars and losing a couple of positions on track.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, it's going to be interesting to see how the likes of Chewy, Letdown Estate, and Maxi make the most of these softs. They are about 5/10, I believe, to Delta is different compared to a fresh set of mediums and fresh set of software, fresh set of lights. So the likes of Chewy, his kind of pace and how consistent it can be. Letdown Estate as well can definitely come back at these guys. But I can't tell if it's hard to overtake around this track. You can probably give us a bit more information here. Or
whether it's what, sorry?
Easy to overtake, but it's harder to defend.
It's difficult to race the track as it is when you've got other cars on with you. It just adds to the equation. Makes it even more difficult. There's a long sweeping turns here, and I was really struggling with my tyre temperatures on the left hand side, but we have some action here at the front as Glock is trying to resume the lead of this race. Paulie Orange also overtaken Droftas on worn tyres, so he didn't pit under that safety car, and we've had a reshuffle. So Droftas dropping 2, Glock taking first and Paulie taking second.
Yeah, if any action happens, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to comment on at all. Besides the top 4 in the first 10 laps, I caught little bits, but literally all I got were these front 4 or 5 guys, because they were just literally nose to tail, overtaking each other every single corner, running wheel to wheel, ironically, but lap upon lap, and it was just so hard to look away in that sense.
Yeah, it's very difficult here. It's obviously a new track to the calendar for many of us here, but as you can see, a Letdown Estate having really good pace here. So he practiced this track quite a lot on project cars or Assetto Corsas, meaning that he's very fluent in this track, which certainly gave him the upper hand in qualifying.
Yeah, the laps just got quicker and quicker. Tuva, can you tell me actually, was the track improving throughout the session? Because the lap times just dropped and dropped and dropped.
I think it's a mixture of the track rubbering in and people getting used to how the softs are feeling with the track temperature and the light fuel settings, because a lot of people would have been doing full fuel runs for their practice sessions. But there's a few different tyre strategies going on track, which I think will bring another dynamic to this, because we've got Chewy on the soft tyres as he's very close to the back of AJC, who is on the hards.
And again, I'm purely going off of the notes and a little bit of research I had on my books here, but it was looking like it was predominantly a two-stop strategy, soft, medium, soft, or something of those mixes, which it looks like a lot of these front guys have gone for. The top one minus dropped the top 5 in that sense, but Joff could be doing the reverse and do medium, soft, soft, or people will even show the possibility of doing a one-stop soft to hard. It didn't show that much of a difference overall.
Yeah, there was some in-game discussion about trying to do a one-stop race, but I think that only the elite guys with the elite tyre management could do that, in the likes of Paulie Orange, because he's probably one of the best tyre manager drivers I've raced with, and he was the one talking about doing a one-stop. But yeah, the standard strategy was a soft, medium, or soft, medium, which is the options I got after qualifying on the softs.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I couldn't imagine Paulie doing something like that. From lights out, he has been up there with Glock, and I still think was probably the best move I've seen in a long time out of nowhere. Just Riker taking both of them in a series of just like 2 seconds, if that.
Well, speaking of Riker, Riker's just gained himself a podium position by overtaking Droftas, but Droftas is fighting it back, coming down into turn 5, very tight corner, and he's right on his tail, but he cannot get the move done on Riker.
I think Droff's going to have a tough time if he's going to have a bit more to bite off than he can chew in that sense, because Nosey and Riker have shown some serious pace throughout this track. The way they stuck with the leaders, with a bit of DRS, but they were with them before. Yeah, the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri and Nosey are looking some serious contenders that could be a surprise podium for either of these lads.
Yeah, I'd be a bit biased if I started talking about my championship position, my championship rivals, and where I'd like them to finish, but we won't touch on to that at the moment.
And I just need to hold the phone a second from all on-track action, because I just want to say congratulations to someone who has just joined in the chat, the God King himself, Xerxes, who is joining us on the stream now, who's just popped in. Bloom, no!
Yeah.
It looks like, your teammates are not too best pleased with you, Bloom.
No, but a letdown estate will be pleased for that overtake on Chaos as he come down to turn 1 with the DRS assistance. He got that job done. But yes, Xerxes, my teammate, congratulations on your recent new arrival and all being well there. But yes, AJC standing in for Xerxes, the only McLaren looking to be able to earn points today. So I do apologise there.
I mean, to be fair, he's on the hards and he's showing some relatively decent pace. He's holding his ground. He's not pushing over. He's really sticking with it. He was with you on track a bit.
He was, and it's just as the tyre wear comes in, you can really feel it on this track, because the long sweeping corners, and Maxi is off. Maxi is in the gravel on sector 2.
Oh, jeez.
Looking like he's got all of the wing there, so hopefully that was just a driver error, losing it by himself, and it wasn't a collision with anybody else.
I think now it's starting to check out. I don't know if you have the full track map on your side. Oh, Max is gone.
Max is gone again. Oh, thank God for ghosting, but... Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. Retired. Gone, yeah.
What happened then? He's in the middle of the track.
Penalty for a collision with CHM.
Yeah, that Prev and... I think they both got caught out there from the ghost, so that's
Chaos
probably a bit unfair.
So this will be an interesting one. Let's see what he got on to. To be fair, he's had a couple of moments on his tyres. The lift on this track may have caught him out a little bit, but again, he's still standing strong just outside the top 10.
I think a few people will be happy with these safety cars, because fuel was looking like it was being difficult to save on this track, and yeah.
We've got another spin by the looks of it in the middle sector. Oh, it's a safety car. Beg your pardon. I said, hold on, Renault's not on the game this year, is it? It's Alpine.
CHM going very slowly into the pits though. He's pitting. Surprised that Droftas didn't take the opportunity to pit there, whether he was past the pit at the time.
I think he needs to, because the mediums go like 18 to 25 laps, or sorry, 25 to 30 laps. And I think surely he's going to want to come in and chuck another set of mediums on, or is he possibly doing a one-stop to
Well, I don't know, maybe he is pushing for a one-stop, but it seems a shame because he gained that first place position from not pitting under the first safety car, but he's clearly lost 3 places from having that extra tyre wear on his tyres.
Yeah.
So as you say, he could be pushing for the one-stop.
Oh, and Glock's in. No, he's not. He dummied it. He dummied me. Oh, damn it. Oh, I fell for it.
Oh, Dan is in. Dan Droftas is in. So he will, unfortunately, lose a few places from this, but hopefully not too many. It's still under safety car, but as soon as Glock catches that safety car, the Delta will be released and everybody will be able to go full speed around the track.
While they are just doing their thing a second, I can't imagine. I can imagine Droftas is going to be probably the only gentleman bit under this at the moment. Yeah, when this track came out a couple of weeks ago, I just wanted to kind of see how you found it, Bloom, personally, because I've not actually spoken to anyone about any of this really. But I found the oh, shut up, sentences. Just put on the stream. Got him. God. Yeah, the track was surprisingly tough, especially for anyone who runs the medium to no TC, because all of the corners or the heavy braking zones remind me of Austria Turn 3.
Yes.
Which is it's all off camber. It's always at an angle. So if you try and change gear at the wrong time, downshift, up, do anything to the car it doesn't like, and your back end's going.
Yeah, you need to be. There's a few of these corners where you can't go full lock, full throttle, which obviously helps on a pad like myself. So you're trying to manage not being full lock or not being full throttle, one or the other, which is how you have to manage to get round. But there's a good flow with this track, but as soon as you lose that flow, you're completely offline, you're off camber as you say, then your back end's twitching, and then when you've got the pressure of a car behind you, that's when it all mounts up. And then even just the fact of doing 8 laps, you're then battling with fuel and tyre temperatures, because my left hand tyres was consistently over 100 degrees, and that in itself will increase the wear and lower the grip, and that's when you are then facing with some problems, especially like I say, these long fast off camber corners. Yeah.
I've lost count of how many times I said it earlier. But no, it's it's effectively Austria just with a couple extra corners. The whole vibe of the track. That's what I personally felt and watching.
Yeah, because Austria doesn't have very many corners at all, does it? To be fair,
it's that thing of you are on a set of rails. If you come off those rails, you're offline for like the next 4 corners, which around here is like half the lap nearly. Yeah. You know, a bit of exaggeration, but yeah, it's the entire sector. It definitely shows that you're going to have to be on it constantly, and for it to be 66 laps, which I wasn't aware of until just as we got into the lobby. To see everyone going side by side, luckily the track's wide enough, it's been great to watch, but I can't tell if it'd be really fun to drive or just really stressful.
It is fun, but it's stressful when there's other people on the track with you. That's the bottom line.
Which unfortunately has to happen when you're racing. You do race against other people.
I mean, after this safety car's coming in, and as we start to peter out a little bit, I will do an on-board with somebody, and I'll sort of run you through my experience of this track. But as I say, safety car's coming in this lap, we'll be resuming racing soon. But there's been a few people who have had the pleasure of being able to play this track on other games, or have much more experience of it from when it used to be on the calendar before. But yeah, it's a new track to a lot of people, and I said at qualifying there was a 3.3 second split from top to bottom. So
I mean, I hate to be that guy. They've not raced at Portugal before. Austria was the first Portuguese track. This is the first time it's ever been on the F1 calendar. It was last year.
But they've raced it on other games, but Glock is away. He has released the pack from the safety car. It's coming down to turn 1, and he looks to be holding his own against Paulie at the moment. Riker having a look just behind. So,
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know the track's been a little bit bugged with Cody's and that, but Paulie unfortunately's picked up a couple. I can't really see why. He's had a couple of penalties come through, but I'm surprised how many people have kept it clean. But yeah, like I say, they are nose to tail coming out of that first sector. Oh my god. Look at them all as they come over the crest. That is insane. We've got some side-by-side action and cars moving there. We have Sega, Bannister and Droft all going into one part of the track. Oh, amazing stuff. And everyone's kept it clean. They've come out on stage there as well.
Like I say, oh, and Droftas ran the outside of Bannister on sector 2. That was an amazing move.
Got someone around. It looks like Lars, who has lost the back of his car. Unfortunately, those softs there, I'm not going to thank him for that one anytime soon. I did have did Bloodenstan get back into the session with Cody? Because I didn't see him pop up.
I didn't see him.
I would like to say he did. I did send him an invite. No, well, he's still ghosted actually. Seeing him
Chaos looking like he's got the extra adhesion over Bannister. Bannister on the hard tyres, coming round the end of sector 3. ERS on, overtake on, but Bannister has got the straight line speed and he's having a look back up on the inside of turn 1, and they're getting very close and Bannister has lost it. That was very tight between those two drivers, so we'll have to see if that gets reviewed in the incidents afterwards, if either driver feels they've been appeased. But Droftas on the inside of Sega, the car's coming down into turn 5, looking like confident is going to get that move done, and he does.
Quickly just update at the front here, so this little battle that's been going away just like at the beginning of the race, Riker and Nosey are kind of sticking with Paulie, and Riker's got on the inside of Paulie. What a move for the Mercedes man as they come to the end of sector 2. I was just about to mention about the penalties and everything like that, but Riker really is a man on a mission this afternoon. He's really going for it.
Yeah, Reiki doing very well in the driver's stand. I believe he is actually second in the driver's standing at the minute. So he is on 4.
Couldn't actually access them before the Grand Prix. So.
Also, one of the top 3 that don't have penalties. He does have some great straight line speed though, because Paulie is not able to make a move on this occasion with his overtake button on.
Going to mention the way that Mercedes Riker set that up for this track. It's very McLaren-esque from the real life, where it just looks like it's got some phenomenal straight line speed. Even with DRS, it just doesn't look like people are getting anywhere near him. Oh, excuse me. But no, it looks like Glock's taken the chance to check out up front now. He's had the biggest lead he's had all race.
Yeah, well, he was 5/10 quicker in qualifying, and he certainly has got the pace round here.
Well, he did, but he did not get away at all at the beginning of the Grand Prix. Everyone was glued to him. So either the slipstream maybe helped him a bit of a tow, but he's probably thanking himself for a bit of a breather now. Nosey is very, again, like Riker's looking rapid on the first, like that main straightaway. But Nosey, again, he looks rapid in the middle sector. All these corners, he must be running a high downforce or something like that. But that's what I mean. I'm really surprised with the pace of the AlphaTauri and Mercedes. I mean, scratch that. Even the second Mercedes here on the softs of Chewy, who's just slowly bringing himself up into contention for this little scrap. He's coming out of nowhere. Look at him go. James back up mid front. Sorry, Riker and Paulie there to change, but Riker sent him back around the outside of him. So Riker's getting his elbows out. Alright, he's not going to be a pushover. Maybe trying to get his teammate up there with him. Definitely would be a big result for the Mercedes lads this evening. Oh. You're not the driver now.
No, I'm the commentator. I'm the unbiased commentator. Bannister in the pits. Unfortunately, again, he was on the hard tyres. I think he did have a spin at some point, so not having the best Grand Prix today. So just trying to keep an eye on these timing boards, but yeah, quite close battle for third place between Paulie Knowlesy and Chewy, and for second, sorry, and Riker. But Chewy, the only one on the soft tyres, but the softs probably not looking to last much further than he's got them at the minute. Maybe another 5 or so laps max.
Oh, really? The strategy was saying 20 laps.
That's what I mean. It's like another 5 laps, and he's going to be looking to come in. Oh, and I'm missing Paulie overtaking Riker.
Classic DRS overtaking to turn 1, but this track looks like it's so wide, even the DRS overtaking isn't actually showing that it's that beneficial, because people can go side by side throughout the entire lap. We go without DRS, up the inside, round the outside. It's just kind of, these moves are happening where I'm not expecting it, and these guys are doing great. It's fascinating to watch him clawing himself all the way back up to 6th already, and he's only been on 5 laps on those softs.
Yeah, purple sector 1 for Droftas. And Chaos has managed to get his way past Stevo, and he's now looking at the gearbox of a letdown Estates. These 3 have been battling away for a short time now. All whilst, as you say, Mikey, ahead of that little pack there, having a race of his own on the medium tyres, doing well.
And I can't help but think, well, I'll say your teammate, AJ, who he did just get half-pipe off, but he's got a nice little cushion to Mikey in that little train. Again, he's on the hards. He's got a nice little bit of breathing room in that sense, which you can't help but feel that would be making his life a little bit easier as well at this moment.
Oh, and a letdown Estate, just picking up a 3-second penalty there, but he is fighting off the Alfa Romeo of Chaos, just behind DRS and overtake button on, but he's fastly running out of overtake. Mikey getting closed in, but still keeping his position.
That toe definitely saved him there, because I thought he was going to send it then into 2, or 3 even, beg your pardon. But yeah, this track is so fast, and these guys are keeping it so clean from what I've seen. If anything's happened, it doesn't look like it's been intentional, but he set up the inside of a letdown Estate, and he's made the move up to sorry, and Steve just sat behind him. Could be ready to pounce on a letdown Estate.
Yeah, great racing from these drivers here. Seem to be having little bundles of drivers together, having a good old scrap. Bannister making his way past Blood and Sand on much fresher tyres. So let's have a little flick up to Knowlesy, who's looking like he's going to be having DRS. He's got his overtake on. Riker, not much overtake in the bank to defend. Knowlesy, DRS, overtake, and it's looking like an easy overtake down before turn 1. But let's ride on board with Knowlesy. Turn 1, that inside curb, you have to watch that very carefully, because that will unsettle the back of the car. Turn 3 here again, not as bad as turn 4 as we come in here, but it's very uphill, off camber. It's very difficult to try and keep the car back end glued to the road and keep within the track limits here. Heavy braking down into turn 5. I was struggling a little bit with getting the traction on the exit there. Then this is where the flow of the track really begins, because you've just got to let your car glide round. Every exit of the one corner leads to the entry of the next, and as I say, plenty of undulation here. Heavy braking here, you want to take a wide entry into the corner because it sets you up nicely to dip down here, lift up into sector 3, left hand here, and again this is where you just have to watch the track limits. A bit of a difficult corner this one, it's just trying to judge the speed correctly to launch your car, because now you are full throttle all the way down to the finish line. You want to make sure that you've saved some of your overtake. So if you want to get the move done, you can get down here. Knowlesy with the overtake and the DRS, chasing down Paulie Orange, but he's not able to get the move done. But Droftas got the move done on Chewy behind him. Paulie with a penalty there. I think Paulie has had a couple penalties now. He's got 4 penalties in total, totaling up to 12 seconds. Glock has got 3. So this is looking very good for the likes of Nolsey, Riker and Droftas, because they are right up there, and Chewy without any penalties. So they could cross the line 3rd or 4th and possibly be looking at a higher step on the podium.
I'd have to just say it is a complete bliss that you've actually got into this to do the commentary as well, because it is genuinely giving me time to just have a breather and just have a drink, because my voice was really knackered after qualifying the first 10 laps.
Well, it was a big and because I was a bit like gutted that I crashed out.
I wasn't going to mention it, but you know, you opened the door and I was like, oh, go on then.
Well, it's that easy to lose it here, but you know, Chaos is going to demonstrate now what it's like to overtake a car on a harder compound when you have DRS and overtake at your disposal, but his overtake button has run out of juice.
They're probably enjoying that to get the easy overtakes. To be completely unbiased, I'm really enjoying it with no DRS, because these overtakes are coming in literally anywhere. They weren't happening down the main straight, they were happening at every single corner.
Yeah.
Great. But Droft only 2.2 off the leading 4 now. He's slowly creeping in, he's got ahead of Chewy. Like you may have mentioned, sorry, as I've just done a quick drink away from the headset. But yeah, Droft is slowly bringing himself into the fight. To be fair, those softs could be done and dusted by the time those mediums are done with the front runners, so he could have brought himself right into contention up at the front by not pitting one person. Could have been a big call.
Yes. I mean, I think tyres will play into this quite a bit, although there is only 5 temps between the softs and the mediums.
That's what I'm trying to think about. Even after a couple of laps, the degradation must have some sort of effect. But saying that, the gap at the front is big as there's ever been. 6.5 seconds. Glock has the lead by now over Paulie. And then yeah, Knowles and Riker sitting there, and down to 1.8 the gap to Droft now. He's going to be there. Give it a couple of laps. We need one of those AWS.
Yeah.
F1
striking distance.
Yeah, whatever the bloody things are that they flip into. Change of position now though. Steve-O has got to let down a state. Steve-O is up into the top 10 on the mediums. So I think those softs may be past their prime.
I was going to say, I think, although a letdown estate is on the softer compound, he is on probably very thin compound by now. Having gone 19 laps on that soft pair.
To be fair, he was having a quiet race earlier. AJ, he's got Chaos giving him company. So Chaos clearing Mikey is really showing pace on his softs, even though they are 11 lap old. It does show the difference between 19 lap old hards as well. So I can imagine he's probably going to be sizing up come the end of lap 4, a nice little DRS overtake.
Yeah, looking for a DRS overtake right now will be Knowlesy on Paulie. Top 4 drivers all on medium tyres since the safety car all on at the same time, and Paulie going right up onto the inside to try and break that slipstream. But Knowlesy still getting DRS, so still able to close that gap.
Chaos is past the McLaren. Into one. Chaos has made the move. So next up on the track is Chewy on 20 lap old softs. So the two drivers, to be fair, yeah, so Chewy and a letdown estate both made the call onto the same compound at the same time, and they are still going. But as you mentioned earlier, these two guys, well, I know you said it with Paulie, for example, but a letdown estate and Chaos have seen them do it before. They can stretch their tyres. They quite happily take the hit on one stint and pull off some random stint later on down the line that benefits them a lot more in that sense.
That's a good point to make as well, actually. Yeah, a letdown estate, he is very good at conserving his tyres. So 20 laps on there. The only other driver to be on that tyre life of compound would be Chewy.
So those two, like I say, they can be very crafty. They can be consistent. Even if they're a little bit off the pace, they can still be consistent and look after their tyres. So yeah, I think they're definitely going for the long game. These top 4, I just cannot wait to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
It does look like Riker, though, is taking a little bit of a back step off these front 3. Probably getting a breather himself after being up there for so long. Maybe recharging the battery, but saying that, 1 second behind his draft, he came into the camera shot out of nowhere. The draft is here, and he is ready to go. See how Williams driver is going to close up on the back of these guys. I'm going to jump on board just to see the angle. There's so many blind apexes on this track, you just have to trust your tyres are going to hold out. And that you're not going to, well, a bit of a touch of something maybe too soon, but not lose the rear coming out of the corner.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
I mean, I said it plenty of times during qualifying and no one did. I was very impressed, and then about 7 did in the first couple of laps.
Well, first few laps, being fully laden with fuel, it felt pretty solid on track, but it soon proved to be, once the tyre temperatures raised, that just reduced the stickiness of the tyres, and it just didn't work.
The position drops in right now as well. Is that as soon as you can see the guy in the front, you start pushing that a little bit more. But you can't just see the guy in front. You can see Paul Leon in second place. Like, you can see the next 3 guys that he is going to be racing. They're just there for the taking. Surely this is just going to give him that extra bit of motivation to go for it, break that a little bit later, chuck the car in, get the most out of the soft tyres.
Yeah, he is going to be using them soft tyres to the max. Chewy just behind now, 22 laps on them tyres, as is a letdown estate, but I'm now looking at Mikey deep in the battle with Steve-O behind, AJC and Chaos in front. Very different tyre strategies between the few of these, all on various tyre lives as well, so interesting to see how this will unfold as the race goes on.
Either Chaos has had a moment, or AJ has pulled out a lap of dreams, because he lost the position to Chaos a lap or 2 ago with the DRS, and big slide there, but he's caught it very well. I was just about to say, he's doing very well on the half to maintain that gap to Chaos.
He's clearly sat in the McLaren that can catch skids.
I mean, I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that you decided to do the commentary after you've had your accident, or the fact you somehow hit something on this track. There's like a mile runoff on every corner. I don't know how you managed it.
Well, I'm now watching Droftas with DRS. Riker is outside of the DRS window. He's closing down into turn 1, but this is going to be tight, and Droftas backs out.
I've been on board with him a couple of times. He's been very careful into 1. He's not sent it, so he's definitely been a lot more conservative on his overtakes.
As I say, that turn 1 is quite a fast corner, but it's fast and sharp. So, but yeah, he's getting the move done down into turn 5, but Riker is not giving it easy. But the Williams is past the Mercedes.
What Riker's probably going to be looking to do now, he's either going to be wanting to use Droftas' pace to kind of stick with him, get the DRS, to try and pull himself back up to the fight. It does look like, very much like in Russia, like I said earlier on the weekend, like, the DRS train is just so strong here by the looks of it. As soon as you drop out of that window, you just can't seem to pull yourself back into the fight. For example, Rosie is just right there before. He's not letting that Red Bull get away at all.
Well, no, because obviously Paulie's dropped out of that DRS from Glock, and just look what's happened there now, 7.7 seconds in front.
Clearly the DRS is really great. To be fair, I didn't realise there were 2 DRS zones until I saw some overtakes earlier. But yeah, it's just showing that the pace of some of these guys around here, I think it's showing who put that extra little bit of practice in around this new track before the race tonight.
Yeah, I think literally the order is probably the same order of hours on time trial been spent by some people, with the exception of a few. But Mikey still chasing down AJC. AJC getting a cheeky little bit of overtake from the lapped car of Prev.
And just to quickly jump in there, a letdown stays in after 23 laps on the softs for a fresh set of mediums by the looks of it. So, very slow stop, unless it's my stream just lagging.
He'll glitch and be halfway down the pit lane, I bet you.
I hope so.
Yeah, so do we.
Otherwise he's got a Van Bottas pit stop. Oh, no, there he is. He's already at turn 2.
Yeah. Stupid game.
Good job, Cody. But, yeah, I mean, he just did 23 laps on the softs. I mean, is it too much to say you could do 30 on a set of mediums?
Well,
You know,
we'll see how far.
But...
See how far Chewy can go on these softs and see how far everybody else takes the mediums. Dastardly has done 31 laps on his mediums thus far, so it begs to work.
I mean, fair Dastardly and let that mistake former teammates from multiple seasons in Wheel2Wheel, so it won't surprise me that maybe a little bit of communication going on there, you know, helping each other out. As much as you are racing against these other guys, there's almost that little bit of friendly advice and competition between everyone.
Oh.
We have a yellow in sector 1.
Which is in the shape of Paulie.
Possibly lost it. I don't know if there'd have been any contact, but I mean, somebody who's not going to be complaining, unless there was contact, is the AlphaTauri and Aussie. That's given him a nice bit of breathing room. That's just behind, but still outside the DRS zone. It doesn't look like there's any wing damage to either of those two drivers who were near poorly on track. So, I mean, I hate to question it, but could he possibly dropped it?
Yeah, it's every possibility, you know. Some of the best drivers I know here have dropped it and crashed out.
You've clearly never seen me race around. But no, I'm impressed that there were only two out at the moment. I'm sorry, it's at your expense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I generally thought there was going to be a lot more people off carbon fibre flying, but there's been very minimal contact from what I've seen. It's very impressive from these lads.
So I'm looking at Mikey. He's just dropped back ever so slightly from AJC, but he's lost.
Jump in there. Chewy's in.
Chewy is in. 26 laps.
That's mental. Again, fresh set of mediums. So I think, as we both said earlier, like, this could be that's the stop done. Down a state and Chewy to the end, maybe on the mediums. Maybe hoping for another safety car.
Is he going to get out in front? Oh, and who else is in? Dastardly is pitting on 33 laps on the medium tyres.
Chewy's got a nice gap to come out between Sega and Lars. So he's got enough time to get into his group, but you know, maybe as the laps go on, he'd get a little bit more desperate for those moves. 28 laps to go. If I can do math, yeah. So it could get a little bit dicey for position. Could be a possible other safety car.
Yeah, it's getting ever so slightly overcast. I don't think there will be any rain that would fall, but it might affect the track temperature ever so slightly, which will just might help slightly with the wear and the temperatures.
Well, the weather, as you guys gave me the feedback earlier, it was looking like it is going to be a dry, slightly cloudy race. No rain forecast. No spicy in that sense.
Droftas very close to the back of Nolsey now, with the DRS assistance coming down into the second DRS zone. So not quite able to get anything done down there.
As he's sizing him up, someone is sizing up the McLaren on track. Mikey is on the move and Sega's in. Sega's in the pits on 26 lap of mediums. So this could, well, I'm presuming it's going to be a set of mediums to the end from this position. But Mikey, those 27 lap of mediums showing a little bit more pace than those 27 lap of hards, which I'm going to be honest, at that stage I thought the hards would have actually been in a better condition.
We have a yellow flag and we have a red car.
We have a Ferrari off on hards. That is
CHM.
Yeah, honestly, I made so many bad wrong name calls during qualifying. It was unreal because I'm so used to seeing certain drivers in certain teams.
Yeah.
If I've not raced this season, I've completely forgotten who's driving for what team somehow. I'd love to know how strong the undercut is here, because right now, Riker, Nolsey and Droft.
Well,
not counting out the likes of Paulie, or, you know, obviously Glock, but the three guys in the top five with no penalties. Surely they're all going to make another stop before the end.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Looking at it, the top five drivers could all pit same lap and go onto the same tyre, and then just basically have a 5-car sprint race to the end.
Well,
Not to exclude anybody down from 5th, but that's...
Yeah, they are. They're out front by 10 seconds, 10.5 seconds. They've really checked out in like their little league in that sense. But it's those three, Nosey, Droft and Riker. I'm just intrigued to know if they're all going to be in for, well, I'm presuming it's going to be a set of softs at this stage, these lads. Who's
well, yeah, if they did a few more laps, then they can do 20
call?
on the softs, can't they?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, who's going to make the first call, and how strong is the undercut going to
Well,
be?
it's whether Drostas comes in first and goes for mediums, because he's nearly done 20 laps on his softs, but we've seen the likes of Chewy and Electana State take them a few extra laps. So
Yeah,
I'll ride on board with Droftas now, and I'll just sort of point out these few corners. Again, as I say, turn 1, that inside curve, very lethal. Full throttle round to turn 3. It's not a bad corner, but this turn 4 is where I think a lot of people lose the back end. Just Mikey in the pits after 24 laps on the mediums. Turn 5, not too bad of a corner, but the traction on the exit is sometimes a bit of an issue. I think some other people certainly got it better than I did. A light little let off the throttle for turn 6, and then turn 7 again, need to watch the back ends. Feels like it's off camber, and then again good flow coming round here, full throttle until this point, and then you're braking on the first corner, ready for the second corner, then it just flows right up here, and then this last sector is almost, it feels like it's almost full throttle all the way. You just need to let off on this corner just ever so slightly, just to try and get your car in the right position. Then from this point, full throttle all the way down to the finish line, and it feels like a very long time to be having yourself full throttle, overtake on DRS now on Nolzu, and Droftas not able to just get that move done there. But we've seen him be very careful on that first corner quite a few times when he's had somebody in front of him. But 21 laps on them softs, they're not going to be the most raciest of tyres he's ever had.
No, and that's what I think in the position he's in at the moment. I could be completely wrong. He started on mediums. The medium soft was a strategy when I was looking up earlier. Obviously, not taking into account tyre wear and these other bits that could be going on and how hard you race, but he could quite easily be playing this from a set of softs, and it's going to be out of even Riker, for example. Any one of these three lads, they make that first call for the softs, or for example, Paulie as well. They could, you know, for the sake of a lap or two on a fresh set of softs, could, well, by the looks of it, quite easily just jump up to second, or even, depending on how quick it is, you know, possibly block me to watch out. The pace difference surely is going to be insane.
Yeah, it's still wide open it's still wide open for everybody in this race, really, but, you know, second place looks to be very unknown right now, and Droftas is definitely closer to Nolsey now, and he's up on the inside before turn 1. And he's got the job done, but he's needing to watch now the second DRS zone that Nolsey doesn't retake the position.
A couple to keep an eye on a bit further down the pack as well. We just see Chaos go in on 23 lap old softs, so surely that is going to be another set of softs for the Alfa Romeo driver. I'm just going to ride forward a bit, but yeah, a couple guys to look out for up and down the grid. Really Chewy on fresh mediums, Stevo, Mikey, and down State, and even Sega. Three lads, the four lads even, sorry, that are fresh set of rubber, quite easily get into this fight and, you know, teetering on the top 5 finish. Chaos though has put on a fresh set of mediums, so possibly no softs left to use.
Possibly. Or maybe he thought 20 laps was the max for the softs, therefore he's gone for mediums. Because the other thing is, like I say,
to push a little bit more as well, so.
On the softs I was pushing and I was struggling with the tyre temperatures and I obviously lost it. So maybe he thinks mediums you can push a bit harder and not worry as much on the temperatures because they should cope better being the medium compound.
Oh, and sorry, just to cut you off there, Droft the Nosey in, Riker's in.
Yeah.
All in the pits. All three of them, boom, boom, boom. And as saying that, somehow Glock just broke the fastest lap of the race on 32 lap mediums.
GG.
Okay, so I'm presuming it's a set of softs for Dross by the looks of it, set of softs on Nosey and a set of softs on Riker. This is where the fun begins.
AJC taking a podium step whilst they're all in the pit, so we could just stop the count now, and that would be good.
He's going to need to Flintstone that McLaren as quick as he can. I tell you, because he's not going to enjoy looking in his mirrors in a couple of laps.
Well,
There's going to be 3 guys that are going to be gunning for him.
We're going to have 3 very racy drivers here now. And Steve-O has made his way past Lars.
I was going to say, yeah, so the battle for just outside the top 5, really, Steve is showing some really impressive pace. And Chewy, a couple of seconds, yeah, between the two. And possibly could be gunning for that 7th place. A couple of the drivers just outside the top 10 as well. The tyre differences are really making these calls interesting. Lars gonna have to stop again. I don't think AJ will. I think he's committed to this one stop, and I think he's made the right call. He's definitely made the best of the situation. But yeah, anyone for the top 10 really. Mikey, Chaos, they're literally on the edge of that boundary. They've got the fresh rubber to burn, really.
Yeah, well, we're still open for safety cars, really altering this race.
I'm going to be intrigued to see, because Paulie stayed out another lap, and we have a yellow.
Is that Mikey?
Has gone round.
No. That's Dastardly, yes.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with that car this afternoon, but he's had a few moments, unfortunately, by the looks of it. It looked like the tyres had spun up. I mean, I don't know, I'm not driving that car, but after the first spin, it looked like he struggled a little bit on those opening couple of laps to get going again. Which is unfortunate to see, but it can happen to anyone, even some of the, I say, veterans of the league, in that sense. It can really catch you out. But, yeah, Paulie's sticking this one out for a couple extra laps by the looks of it, on the mediums.
Yeah.
Glock stayed out another lap. He's clearly got that cushion.
Yeah, Glock stayed out, but he clearly got the pace as he'd set the fastest lap on them tyres. So maybe Paul is thinking he can try and extend his lead whilst he hasn't got a battle. But he's in.
Oh, he's in now, is he? Okay, that'll be interesting, because Nosey is right on the back of Droft, looking to reclaim that position off the Williams. So they are going to be scrapping away. We're going to have Paulie coming out the pits right into this little... Well, I say that, he may not come out in front because of them hitting early, but yeah, they are going to clear him.
Yeah,
Is Nosey going to go forward move as he sets the fastest lap of the race? He sits behind him, and I can't help but feel... Oh, yeah, Riker has cleared Paulie as well.
Got past him as well.
Paulie's
past him.
pedal to the metal for that gentleman, but yeah, can't help but think AJC is going to be looking in his wing mirrors in a in a lap's time, because they were 6 seconds behind him, and that just shows the pace difference between brand new softs and 13 lap cars. Not saying I'm surprised by that, but that's a significant gain.
Yeah.
And Glock's in. They clearly saw that Droft is gone, so he's now got that nice little safety to do it himself. This is where we're going to see, like we do with most races, the lads at the front that have got that bit of extra pace just start chucking it in for the fastest lap now, don't they? This is, well, possibly we could see a couple of mistakes or slip-ups, but it's going to get very close. As Droft is already within the DRS of AJ as they come down to the start-finish straight in that sense. And Knowles, probably going to be kicking himself a little bit because he's going to be wanting that DRS where Droft can't get it. And is that a Ferrari round I see in Sector 2?
There is a Ferrari causing only a yellow flag. I was wondering if he was going to have a safety car then.
I bet AJ was open for one.
Oh, Knowlesy picks up a penalty there, which is not what he wanted, but Droftas makes his way... Well, he's making his move on AJC. And Knowlesy coming together.
Knowlesy wasn't waiting for the second corner, he was just going for it.
No, because that could have put a second between them easily. But them coming together like that, this game now, the settings we've got on, can pick up floor or side pod damage, so that little bump between them two could have caused a little bit of damage.
Just while there was a quick second to do so, a brief touch on the penalty situation, to be fair, because I was just intrigued to know how this is going to play out for people. Glock sat with a 3-second penalty, Droftas obviously clean. Knowles picked up one, but that was his first just then. AJ unfortunately has 9, Riker's clean, Paulie's got 12, Chewy's clean, and then just taking it kind of to the top 10 really, Steve with 8, Chaos with 3, Mikey is in the top 10 but without penalties. The final result could severely mix up it, depending on if anyone picks any other up now, because this podium I personally can't work out until I think they're going to cross the line.
Well, Paulie certainly on the chase, picked up the fastest lap there, but he's still 3.5 seconds off Riker, but he's got 12 seconds of penalties, so I do think that will affect his final result here in Portugal.
He's sticking the draft, he's not letting him get away. Again, 18 positions gained in that Williams. From the start, back of the grid. I don't know if he's just doing it for fun now. So he did it in Canada, he started at the back and got to the front. I can't remember who it was that we lost during the race. I think it was Paulie during that race, a scrap between Glock and himself, but due to connection or something. But yeah, it's Glock up front definitely seems to have honed it in, and he's just answered the fastest lap with a 17.7.
Wow.
Jeez. I mean,
wow.
I know it's a game compared to real life, but the lap record for the real Formula 1 circus around here is an 18.7.
And Nolsey is making the move on Droftas. What you say about the comparison between real life and the game, but you know, Glock has just set a 1:17.7. The other fastest lap after that is a 1:18.3, which was set by Paulie's, and he is 6/10 faster.
All I'm hearing is that Lewis Hamilton had to put the pace on.
Bono, these tyres are gone, man. Fastest lap.
Well, that's what I was thinking when Glock set the fastest lap on 34 lap mediums. I was thinking, that's fair enough. I've seen that somewhere before. But I'll be intrigued to know now if Knowles has the pace to go back and drop. If he really goes for it now, because he's got to bridge that gap. He's got 3 seconds he needs to clear if he wants to keep that second. That, or maybe he's just playing for the podium. But Paulie's only 2 seconds behind Riker now as well. He's pulled that gap down massive. Yeah. And just to jump some action, which I think you meant about to say, Bannister is all over the back down of that down state for
I'm on it. And they was very close at turn 1. So he's definitely trying to get the move done. But when...
So they haven't swapped positions already then?
No, Droftas not able to get the move done on Knowlesy down into turn 1. So this is flicking up and down a little bit, but we'll go with it.
Yep.
He's just a bit too far back, so back to Bannister.
I was just going to say, Bannister's on 23 lap old mediums compared to letdown estates as well. So either I've missed the letdown estate getting in front and Bannister's just there for the ride now, or somehow that Ferrari's just picked up a second wind on those mediums and it's just got some serious pace compared to the guys around, and Paulie picks up the penalty.
That's his 5th now, I believe, so he could very well be losing a place. First at wheel to wheel, if you pick up more than 4 penalties for exceeding track limits, then you will lose a position in the final standings. But as I say that, Paulie is getting awfully close to gaining a position, as he is right on the back of Riker. But Riker also chasing down AJC, both currently in the DRS window.
I mean, the fact that AJ's still in 4th, it's been a good 5 laps, 6 laps since these guys have pit. I'm surprised. Nothing against the driver, but to be on those tyres, 39 up old hards.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Picked up another penalty there.
I was going to ignore that part and just kind of praise the driver for how good he's doing. But, you know, fair enough.
No, but yes, kudos. 39 laps on the hard tyres. I think he is the only one to have done a one-stop. Let's check that out.
Chewy, Chewy stopped again, didn't he? Please do correct me if I'm wrong there. I know.
Yes, the
Chewy
only driver to do a one-stop.
So AJ is the only guy that went for one-stop. Which, I mean, I hate to say, if you eliminate the penalties away from this, to be from where he was, what was he, 7th, 8th with yourself at the start of the race?
Yeah.
You know, what, 14 to go? To be up in 4th.
Well, I don't think he will be in 4th for long as we are coming round the final corner of Sector 3. Paulie already going wide to get the traction around Riker, but Paulie is going to box himself in, and we're 3 wide with AJC on the inside, Riker on the middle now. Paulie having gained 2 positions there, overtaking Riker and AJC. AJC losing out twice there.
He's got a 14-second cushion now to the other Mercedes, the Chewy. So I think he's just going to want to have a bit of a breather. Bannister's still sticking within that 1 second of letdown mistake. He's hanging in there. He's definitely using that DRS. Reminds me of someone I know I used to race against. Getting the DRS toe. With multiple laps on him. Yeah, to be fair, it looks like he might actually be able to have a go at the Haas driver, to be honest, into one. He's gaining, but that stretch just not long enough. And as well, like a couple of his places just kind of mellowed out there. Droft hasn't, well, I say Droft hasn't had, it looks like he's had the pace to come back at Novelty, but also you can see that Novelty's got those penalties. So is he going to want to risk trying to fight for that position now? They are on lap 53. Just do a quick race recap and rundown there. We've got Glock out in front. 17-second leading. He's just been booing that from the get-go. Knowles, he can't be sitting P2 for the AlphaTauri team. Dropped out, started at the back. He's up to 3rd for Williams. Currently keeping a clean race when it comes to penalties. Paulie Orange up to 4th now. Had a bit of an up and down race, but he's definitely been action filled. Riker as well has been there alongside him pretty much from start to finish so far. AJ, as we mentioned earlier, the only gentleman to be on a one-stop strategy for McLaren, the sole McLaren remaining, up in 6th position. The second Mercedes is Chewy, keeping it clean in 7th. We have Steve-O in 8th, Chaos and Mikey rounding out the top 10. Just outside the top 10 though, a couple of the other drivers have had a bit of unfortunate luck or wrong timing on the tyres, so letdown mistake and Bannister. Even Lars Sager as well running up at 14th. Darcy up to 15th after what's been a bit of a tough afternoon for himself. Don't know if he's been carrying any extra damage, but he's back up to 15th now. Prev, CHM, and then Blood and Sand is classified on track just to see if he's actually in the car. He's still ghosted, so I believe that is the AI rounding out in 18th. I'm just going to cut to the front here very quick as Droft is all over the back of Knowlesy, so starting to get the move on now. He's closed him right down, maybe save some battery deployment in regards to do that, but he's definitely stepped it up again now. Paulie, 5 seconds behind this leading lot. He's going to be able to just slowly start to try and claw them in. 12 laps to go. He does have time if he's got the pace on the car. AJ just hanging in there as well in 6th. Still got a 14-second gap to Chewy. He's holding his own there, but we're just going to cut quickly to Chaos, who is all over the back of Steve-O. This is a battle for 8th place. And Chaos on the quicker, well, I said the quicker tyre, the fresher tyres are in the second DRS zone, and he's going to have a look. Doesn't do it. Maybe he's thinking about the start from the straight next time around. And again, no move made, but Bannister is still right behind the Haas driver. We'll let down and stay there for 11th place as well. That's another penalty comes through for balling.
Big catch there from Bannister, and Paulie is off.
Paul is round.
not what he was looking for. He's already going to be losing a position because of his penalties, so he needs to try and get back up the field and retake the position from AJC, at least to try and have a net gain of where he is right now.
Well, as it stands, he needs to clear AJ by at least 6 seconds for the penalty deficit, and then another 2 positions on top of that, I believe. He's 18 now, so that's
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, he's got up to 18 seconds. So it's the fifth. Is it the 5th penalty?
It's the 5th, so he's got the 5th and 6th to drop.
Yeah, so you have the time and then you drop the further 2. I was trying to work this out at Canada while I was doing this solo commentary, and I could not get my head around it. So. But it's impressive drive for the lads that have not picked up any. And we've got someone around again. That's Steve-O round. Both Red Bulls having a nice pirouette there within the space of a lap or 2. So that has promoted Chaos up to 8th and freed him up on his mediums. Yeah, like I said, it's we know how unfortunate the game has been with handing out penalties and warnings and being very strict on the settings that are on the lobby at the moment. Unfairly so in regards to how the game detects track limits around here, but it's still impressive to see there's still a good handful of people that haven't picked any up in that regards, so they're definitely going to benefit from it.
Yeah, I think I would have suffered because I had picked up a few in the few laps that I was on track here.
You know me, mate, I wouldn't have picked up a single one. I'm just going to sit on board and drop for a little bit as he's just staring at the back of the AlphaTauri, and with the yellow in sector 3, that's a Red Bull again.
Steve-O doing well to stay out of the way. It looks like he's coming in.
It looks like it's all unravelled for the Red Bull guys in the last couple of laps. It's unfortunate to see they both had a strong race, really, and we've got an Aston Martin and AlphaTauri round. AlphaTauri in the middle sector of...
who is it? Prev.
It is Prev.
Yeah. Had me worried for a second. It was Knowlesy on his
I'm watching
podium
him on screen
fighting
at the moment,
race.
so I know it wasn't him. I was trying to find the other Alpha. Again, I'm still trying to remember who drives for what team. Yeah, well, we've got a couple of guys on fresh softs. Steve and Sega has a look on Knowlesy and thinks twice about making a move before going into one. To be fair, just a couple shout-outs on some great results so far. Chaos and Mike both up 7 positions from where they started at the beginning of the race, getting themselves both up into the top 10 with a nice haul of points coming their way.
Yeah, into the final stages of this Grand Prix now, so still anybody's battle for second place. Knowlesy having to defend off Draftas, but with that penalty, all Draftas has to do is keep with him, and that position will be his.
Between the beginning half of this race compared to the latter half, like how much it's spaced out is, you'd think you're watching 2 different Grand Prix. Absolutely mental how different it is. Just quickly jump on board from one Williams to an Alpine of Lars, who, if I recall correctly, is on a fresh, he's on 10 lap old softs, but to be fair, the cars ahead are on 31 lap old mediums, 20 lap old mediums, and 15 lap old mediums. So Lars, who has not picked up a penalty yet, is looking like he's going to creep his way back into the top 10. He's definitely showing some pace because he is flying up behind the Ferrari at that.
He could very well be in the top 10 on his own merit anyway, without the penalties, to be fair.
Yeah, but to be fair, when you do it on track, it always beats action a little bit. That little more, doesn't
But Mikey having a great race, top 10 finish, and no penalties.
Oh, and the letdown estate's gone wide. Bannister's had a look at the outside here as they're coming through 2 and 3. I believe that was 2 and 3, 3 and 4, sorry. And other side by side, Bannister's made the move now on the letdown estate. So that is 30. And that letdown estate had a look, but he's covered it.
They're all being interrupted by our race leader.
I was thinking who that was. And out of that, no, letdown estate is backed off, but Lars has let him back through. And the letdown estate's gone wide at the following corner. Like you mentioned earlier, you get offline, it just completely sets you off. I'm just going to say thank God for ghosting on lapped cars. Otherwise that would have been a very unhappy Glock by the looks of it. But,
well, I think if there were solid cars, I think everybody would have reacted differently anyway.
They're just so caught up in battling away for their positions. But yeah, no, Lars, well, he's cleared one of them. Yeah, he's Bannister to go now.
Yeah, he cleared one of them, but I'm not sure how right that was because it was all under blue flag conditions, so it's difficult what that is.
Yeah, it'll be something for the stewards to look at. They both lifted, and he let down the state went deep at the next corner, but like I say, is while we have the stewards look at everything that happens in the Grand Prix, why we have this footage, why everyone does, post their appeals up in the chat if they need to. If something feels like it was unrightly done so, or unfairly done so, in that sense of their correct phrasings, but Lars, either way, is powering on. He's getting ever so close to the back of that Ferrari. He's got less than, well, I was going to say 7 laps to go, so they've just been lapped, so less than 6 laps to go for these guys. And Lars getting a top 10. On track. Not taking into account that. I thought I'd correct myself completely.
Glock's lead now, 22.5 seconds, and we have yellow flag. I think that was for blue flags.
I think it was, yeah, we've got an Alpine...
Dastardly slowing down, I think it was.
AlphaTauri and then backing off. I think it was an Aston backing off to that through. Is Lars going to be close enough going into one? Bannister's already, well, I say he's gone defensively. You can see the light flashing, you can see the battery point. Lars is going to send it around the outside into one. Opened up that turn, nice and easy for himself there. And that is, well, game set match. Oh, well, as I say that, he
had a right massive.
Bannister's gone back through.
But he picked up a penalty as he did.
Oh, Lars is going to be kicking himself for that one. He's just got, patient next time round. I'm not going to say he can't do it again. It's just the tyres are just going to be that little bit more worn, those softs. But I still can't help they feel a lot better than 34 lap old medium.
Yeah, but it's this track, these corners, the back end is just, it doesn't want to stick on a lot of these corners. You need the absolute perfect setup, and then, like I say, you battle in with tyre temperatures. And after getting that move done, having to probably overuse the tyres to get there, losing some traction on them corners in sector 1.
We can't see the on-car usage of percentages of tyres or anything like that. I wish I could for this moment, just because AJC is on 49 lap old hards. These tyres are meant to do 40 laps. He's done 90% nearly of the Grand Prix, practically 80% then, if we want to be that specific on these tyres, and he's still going. How? I'd love to know what percentage those tyres are at.
Lars keeping it in front this time. He managed the overtake on Bannister. Oh, and Droftas is awfully close also. But still not able to make the move done. But again, if he keeps this close, he will inherit that position through penalty time. But he is very close, and he's now making the move down into turn 5. He's on the inside. Knowlesy has kept it in there. If Knowlesy's still on his right hand side, can he maintain the position? He can, but he's literally just fraction in front of Knowlesy.
I mean, it's kind of weighing up what's really how much for the drop pass was the risk here. He's got a nice handful of points here, no penalties on the plate. Of course, we want to see him battle. We want to see Knowlesy and Droftas go head-to-head here with the last couple of laps, but how much is Droftas really going to risk? With it being involving a crash or, having an off or something. You've got to think of the points he's going to bring home now, surely, at this stage.
But Knowlesy, now the car behind, now the car that will have the DRS when Droftas has been the car with DRS for so many laps. Can Knowlesy regain that position with DRS assistance? He's closing down in a straight line speed, he's just breezing past him. Another move that's looking to be made very shortly is Paulie Orange on AJC. Paulie Orange, after his spin, is regained the position behind AJC to be able to make the overtake very easily. So that's one position less he's got to worry about dropping at the end through his time penalty. So Droftas back in his position behind Knowlesy.
I was just trying to work this out, to be fair. As it stands, I'm going to say it now and it probably won't happen. AJC has kept a solid gap over Chewy, even on those old tyres.
Yeah.
He's got 15 seconds worth of penalties.
Yep.
He's got a 15-second gap. But he will drop a position due to the wall set.
Yes.
Paulie's dropping 2. AJC could still be on for the top 6 finisher. If I've worked that out correct. Or I'm talking utter rubbish. But
Yes,
yeah.
because and Chewy would be 5th. But
Yeah,
as it stands, all Chewy has to do is close that 4/10 down, 5/10 down, so that AJC drops below him before he then drops a position. Because the time stamp happens first.
Yeah, he's guaranteed 70. So he's guaranteed within reason if he just gets finished, but 7. But yeah, that's one hell of a drive then. On one stop.
Yeah.
Doing your team proud.
Yes, at least someone is. Sorry, Xerxes.
Well, to be fair, at least you should. No,
No, I mean, Xerxes has had some unfortunate luck. He's definitely the faster of the two McLaren full-time drivers, but finishing a race is sometimes an issue because he ends up in an incident somewhere, either being knocked off or being in the back of somebody and ends up pitting, and then when you're behind and it's just fighting a losing battle, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was going to say, but you're fighting uphill for a Grand Prix if you get a start, unfortunately. Sometimes it can't be helped as well. I think we've all been there. Some of us more than others. I know I feel that thing regularly. But it's always nice to see these guys still racing, even though they've had, let's say a tough start to the Grand Prix, like to CHM, dastardly. Not saying anything in particular went wrong, there's just been, a couple spins here and there. They're still going. Steve-O as well, he had a couple of spins earlier, still going. It shows that, they're all still clawing away. Am I right in thinking it's points for every finish, or is it just top 10?
Yes, points for every finish. Basically, you take your standard points for a Formula 1 race, and then you add 10. So 10th place will get 11 points, and then 11th will get 10 points, and then decreasing by 1 per position. And also, there won't be everybody classified as in the one league because we're running the 2 splits in one race. So,
of course,
for the likes of Steve-O, a letdown estate is in front of him. He's an L2 driver, so Steve-O will be promoted up a place, and for every AL2 driver in front of him.
Yeah, I forgot that was the thing. I'm starting to think you and Xerxes, you two full-time McLaren boys, are going to have to start taking lessons from AJ, because he's now bridged a gap of 16 seconds to Chewy.
Well, and we have a spinner which looks like it's Chaos. Yep.
Because I'm just going to quickly, just ride on board here with Glock as, he's on his final lap. He had a very tough start. In regards to fighting off the opposition, he was fighting Paulie, he was fighting Riker, and he's shown that he's had the pace. He put one hell of a lap in qualifying. Even he said on the chat, it was such a nice lap for himself. He felt like he really strung it up together. But from start to finish, it's been a very dominant display, pure pace in the Alfa Romeo as he's going to round the final corner. As he's coming up here, this long right-hander, he's probably going to be relieved after such a long race. And he's going to come down to the line, and we are going to see Glock take the flag and the win here in Portugal.
Yeah, congratulations, Glock, on the win for the round 7 of Wheel to Wheel. Knowlesy is he's pulled a gap on Droftas slightly, but
second or so, didn't he?
Yeah,
he needed 3 seconds. He needed 8 tenths. Oh, one more lap.
Yeah, Droftas up into second place.
Max Verstappen-esque drive that was from last to second. But a big shout there to Riker. Brings it home in 4th after one hell of a drive as well. No penalties. Great drive for the Mercedes lad. Leading at one point, like I mentioned. I mean, I know we don't normally do things like driver of the day or anything like that. I've had to give a shout, Droftas, just for the overtakes. But I mean, purely from display, I personally would want to say Riker. Just because he showed some serious pace this evening, sorry. That and AJC, to be fair. He's crossed the line, he's classified 6th. He did it, he kept the gap over Chewy, so...
Yeah, 4.5 tenths, Chewy will be kicking himself. But
so
chaos.
If Paulie drops 2, is that a top 5 for AJ? I think that's something for the stewards to look at, because again, you wouldn't think I've been racing in this league for like 7 seasons. Up until now. But yeah, the rules have never changed, bar the points. But like I showed there, Droft getting driver of the day, from back row, 2 second. I like that podium celebration from Glock, fair enough. Codemaster's coming up with all sorts of weird and wonderful things to do on that.
Yeah,
but
congratulations, Glock, on the race win. Droftas, fantastic show, as you say, Verstappen-esque, going from 20th to 2nd place. And Knowlesy putting up the fight all the way through. Great podium finishes there.
Yeah, and they made Glock work for this one. Really made him work for it, because early on he could have easily lost track position to multiple drivers. At one stage it was insane.
Yeah, so as you say, if we run down the order, we'll try and do it live as the drops would be. So we got Glock in 1st place, Droftas in 2nd, Knowlesy in 3rd, Riker in 4th. Then we would have Chewy in 5th. AJC keeps his 6th place, and Paulie Orange would then be in 7th. Then we have Chaos in 8th, Mikey in 9th, Lars in 10th. A Letdown Estate is 11th, but he is 1st of the AL2 drivers, so he would be 1st in the AL2 standings. Bannister in 12th, but would be 11th. Steve-O 13th, would be 12th. Sega is AL2, so he would be 2nd in the AL2 standings. Dastardly finishing 15th, probably 13th in the end. CHM 16th, probably 14th in the end. And Prev, Blood and Sand, was disconnected, and I crashed out and there was somebody else.
Just getting a general feedback in regards to the chat of these guys as they're saying that they're racing. I'm getting a sense of relief that the race is over now for them, by the looks of it. But no, that was a brilliant drive by those lads. Now I'm racking my brain because Portimao's normally 2nd in the calendar, but they added it late to the game. What is next on the calendar for Wheel to Wheel? Where are you guys at next week?
Don't know. I'll have a quick look. See if I can find out. Anyway.
Hard to keep up with it.
Austria. Is it Austria?
So the same race again then. Just on a shorter track. I'm just going to see if we can get anyone in for some interviews. Top 3. And like I say, well, he's in the top 3, so I was going to pass one out to AJ if he is on the mic this evening, just for that stint on the one stop. Did a brilliant drive. Just going to wait to hear back from any of them to see if they are available. Alright then, so it looks like the drivers are all done for tonight, so if there's anything else to add, it has been a brilliant race to watch at Spectator Over. It's been lovely to have your company, Bloom. I'm sorry it was at your expense earlier in the race.
No, it's alright.
I mean, it's nice to hear your voice, but it would have been nicer to see you out there on track, of course.
Yeah, it'd be nicer to see me jumping up and down on the podium, but never mind. Good race, everybody. Well done for not crashing and dying like I did.
But no, and like I say, Austria next week.
Yes.
So, a little bit more of the same, couple less corners, fast laps, and like I say, it was action filled here tonight. So thank you for everyone who's joined us this evening. That's it for myself, and I will be here same time next week, bringing you live coverage of Austria. Thank you.
Thank you.